And we are live. Thank you, everyone, for joining Dan-A-Plooza. My guest at this time is a return guest. He is an actor, producer. Let's give a round of applause for Mark Byrne. Great to have you back on the show, Mark.
Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome. Mark's current project is One of One, and also make sure to check out absurdproductionpictures.com for his other fantastic work. He recently also received an award for his film Brazen Impact. So make sure that you are supporting and sharing and giving all the support you can. That is the plug of the segment. So can you tell me what inspired you to come up with the project One of One?
Well, it's funny. It's actually based on a true story that happened to me when I first moved into the DC market. I was between jobs, so I saw an ad in the and I wanted to continue my video career, and I saw an ad in the Post or wherever I saw it in one of the newspapers in DC for screenwriters wanted. And so I contacted the guy, and he said, "Oh, well, first I need to know if you can, So he made me read a Sholokov book and write a screenplay for it, and he limited it to like 10 pages or something. So you had to you had to cut some of it out and all that. And then I did all that. I spent all that time on it, turned it in. I thought, okay, and he's like, okay, that you did what I wanted there, but I don't know what the story's about. You didn't tell me what the story's about. So then I had to basically write a report about it.
Oh,
and then
wow.
after I did that, and then there were other hurdles. So he put me through all these hurdles, and finally he said, okay, you've made it, and now you got to wait, because now I got to get the rest of the team together. And he had to put all them through those hurdles. So this really happened. So and then when I wanted to do a comedy, I was trying to figure out the idea, and I had the idea of wanting to use these unique items, and I couldn't really. And then I remembered that happened to me, and I thought, well, maybe we'll have this eccentric guy that puts all these people through these things so that they can sell their story, that they have to come up with this item. Now that's not what he made me do, but this is fiction, right? So
Right.
That's why everybody has to bring an item. So you've got all these writers bringing an item, and he doesn't even care about their story. He wants to see their item. It's like, oh, I like your item. Okay, you're in. I not even be a writer. So it's kind of a parody on the system too, on how a lot of times connections get people further than talent, and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of a play on that too.
It would make me think that if you brought the wrong item, like you were kind of screwed, and be like, wait, I can go get another item.
Yeah, he has a whole warehouse full of stuff, so he's a hoarder basically of like collectibles, and I'm sure everybody knows somebody like that. I mean, I'm kind of one myself in a way.
Yeah.
But so he's got everything, and people bring what they think is obscure thing. Oh, look, I brought a Robert Crumb comic book. Oh, I got a box of them.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of, and he's kind of relentless on people when they bring something he has. He's kind of mean spirited about it, but in a fun way. It's a comedy, so it's not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you've begun shooting it. What's it like working again, kind of, because we're out of the pandemic, working with this cast of new people?
Oh, it's a great cast. We've got a lot. Most of the people in the cast are regionally, I'm not gonna say famous, but well known. They've been in a lot of films regionally. So there are people that support local films within the region. When I say the region, I'm talking the Mid-Atlantic, as far west as maybe Ohio, and as far south as the Carolinas, as far north as like New Jersey, New York, that region. And so we've got a lot of folks that have been in a lot of movies around. A lot of them are horror actors, so for them to be in a comedy, a lot of them were really excited about getting, doing something different like that. And then we also have a couple of names. We have Nancy Ann Ritter from Scream, and we have George Stover from all the Dan Doler movies. So we have both of them. We've already shot their scenes. And they both have good comedic, they both have a comedic sense about them, even though they're always in these sci-fi and horror movies. So I think both of them were kind of excited to actually get to be funny. That was fun for them,
to show
their having to be scared or be the attack somebody or whatever.
Yeah, to show their comedic acting chops.
Yeah.
So what was it like working with those two individuals on set as a director?
Oh, it was a lot of great fun. Nancy Ann this was her first film getting back, and she had taken a break for a while from acting, and she
Right.
wanted to get back. And we met her at the Four State Comic Con, and she
Oh,
had a
okay.
booth with us, and yeah, we talked about it then, and she was very interested. And I think the fact that it was comedy really drew her more. I mean, even though because most of her projects are going to probably be horror related, I would imagine.
Right.
So the fact that this was so different, it was just it was intriguing to her, and she really liked the script. She told me that it was very different than anything she'd read, so that really drew her. So that meant a lot to me. And with George, this is our third straight film with George. We love George. I would have him in every film that he would be willing to be in. He's just and especially for this one to get him to be funny because I had him like the first movie I had him in, he was a super serious professor, and George is not like that at all. He's really a funny guy. And I had him playing like the most serious character in the whole movie. So it's just, it's fun to give him something now that he kind of played it up like he was this kind of a hillbilly kind of guy who's drinking beer and he had the record that the main character wanted to get this unique record to turn in for the contest, right? And he was kind of just messing with her and him and his brother. So that was a fun scene. It was one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Definitely. So when it comes out, will it be available like on a disc or physical copy, or is it going to be more of a streaming kind of thing?
I'm thinking it might just go streaming because as much as I've tried to prop up DVDs, even after Amazon dropped them, I've just seen the market in the last 2 or 3 years completely drop off. Now, if I'm at a show and I'm at the table, we sell a lot of DVDs on one-on-one when people can talk to you. That's still a good way of selling, but on the internet, it's just people want to stream it. They don't want to. So I think what I'll do is make DVDs for the cast because the cast is going to want to have it. They don't want to worry about where it's streaming. But other than that, I don't think, and we'll have them at the table, but I don't think we're going to bother trying to promote it as, and every time I bring it up, I've done some videos and put them up about, and I expected like 50 people to come back. No, don't drop DVDs. I love physical media. And nobody did. So I think people have moved on. I mean, whether I want to accept it or not. So I've accepted it. It's time to move to streaming,
Yeah, that's how I am. Like I like to buy it like if I'm at a convention or physically in person, but I think a lot of the times because of the pandemic, I just feel like I just rather stream and watch when I have time or when it is convenient for myself.
Yeah. I think people don't really need to own every movie that you like. I mean, even though I do probably, but if I didn't already have them, I wouldn't do it that way. And I really don't about newer movies now. I'm just like most of them. I just want to watch it one time. I don't need to own it. I don't need to have every DVD of every movie ever made. It's not necessary,
True. Yeah. My DVD shelf would beg to differ since I have owned every movie that I watched and I've only watched it one time. But yeah, I'm getting to the point where it's just like I want to watch it once and be done with it, and then so I definitely can see that. But are you planning to attend any more conventions for this year, or are you going to wait till next year?
No more conventions. We are going to a film festival in Cleveland, Ohio, August 14th. I believe it is Saturday, August 14th. We're showing at 10 o'clock. We're showing Brazen Impact, and then we also have another screening of Brazen Impact. I think it's September 24th, and that's in Springfield. And there'll be more information about it if you guys come to absurdproductionspictures.com. There's an events page, and I'm going to put all that up on there. But we're not doing another convention. I'm hoping next year that we're going to a convention. I guess I won't say where. It's in Pennsylvania, but I won't say exactly which one. But we're hoping to do that one, and I like to do 1 or 2 a year.
Right. Springfield, Illinois.
No, Springfield, Virginia.
Virginia. Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure because sometimes there's more than one Springfield.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
It's gonna be released with where the Simpsons were now.
Exactly. That's the most famous one.
Homer will introduce the film.
Oh, that would be great, wouldn't it?
That would be. Especially if he did something wrong, he could do the dough.
Oh yeah, of course. You'd have to do that.
But so what was it like to get the award that you got recently for Brazen Impact?
Well, it was really exciting because crime is probably my favorite genre, and
Oh yeah.
we got a third place, but we got the 10 o'clock slot on Saturday night is like the prime slot of the whole festival, 8 and 10 o'clock on
Oh yeah.
Saturday. That's when everybody's there. They have a big party afterwards at midnight, so everybody stays for the party. And we would be right before the party, so people can leave the theater and we could go into the party room, and then hopefully people will want to talk about the movie, is what I'm hoping. So it's a really good opportunity to get to meet, you know, a bunch of other actors and filmmakers and stuff. So I'm really excited about the time slot. And even though it was third place, we got the better time slot of the other two crime movies. So
oh yes.
I'm wondering if those other two had a bigger budget and that's why they won, but they think that ours is more watchable because they don't put movies at 10 o'clock that aren't watchable. I mean, they put the ones they think that the crowd really wants to watch. We've never been on a Saturday night before in any of our other films that we've shown.
Wow.
Anyway. So, you know, we have an individual one-off show like at a theater, but at a film festival, we've never been a Saturday night. We're usually either Sunday or during the day on Saturday. So I'm honored by that time slot. You know, I know everybody would like that slot. So, you know, I'm excited. I hope we have a big crowd.
There you go. You're breaking the glass ceiling there with grabbing that time slot. So just keep, you know, breaking the ceiling and knocking down doors.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so is there any other projects that you're going to do after One of One, or are you just going to wait and see how the year unfolds and 2023 starts?
Yeah, well, what I want to get the One of One cut and released, and then I have a documentary that I'm going to be doing about an artist who's been in a couple of our films.
Okay.
And I want to get both. I've been working on that kind of in the background for a while, so I really want to get those two things released. We're talking about, you know, maybe doing a horror thing next.
Very awesome.
We have some ideas to bounce around on that, but that would be late of next year, probably at the earliest. You know, it would be filmed probably over the fall and winter of 2023.
Yeah.
So it's a ways off, and I haven't written it yet or really put a lot of time into it because, you know, we got to get this one shot and then cut, and then you know how it is. It's just thing after thing after thing that lines up. Yeah.
Well, you can write it during the winter. You know, you can
time.
be very, very shining, like, you know.
Absolutely. No, it's a really good time to do stuff like that, like editing and writing, because you're going to be sitting at home alone anyway.
Exactly.
You know, the summer is a better time to, and the spring and fall too are better times to get out and shoot. And everybody's out.
Right.
And in the winter, everybody's kind of hibernating, and that's a good time to work on a script because you just need quiet time for that, right?
Yeah, I normally say I turn into a bear. Come see me in March.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Please do not disturb.
Right.
So, with moving forward, would you like to continue to direct more, produce, act? If you have your choice, what would you like to do more of in the future?
Probably continue along the same path, which is write and direct. And I played a big part in Brazen Impact just because I'm a big crime fan. If I did another crime movie, I'd probably play a big part in that. But the other films, I really feel like, you know, I've been in enough stuff, and you got all these actors who are in the Mid-Atlantic that are, you know, that are trying to get all this work, and here I'm taking a peach role for me. I just don't want to do that unless it's a crime thing where I really just want to be in it. But I'm thinking like in this movie, I'm going to be a cameo, and then probably in the next movie just a cameo, and give the parts that I normally would have been to somebody else, you know. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I would, if I had more time, I wouldn't mind producing and helping other people, but it's just I seem to just, as soon as I get one project done, I got to kind of get started on the next one, because there's all that stuff you got to do. You got to start talking to people and locations and all that. And our other producers, Matt Burns and Donna Byrne, work with me on that. And it's a lot of work, you know, before you ever even before you start writing. A lot of times you've got a lot of production stuff to do, and then you got to write the whole thing, and then you got to reach out to all the cast and see who's interested and who's not, and then see what locations you can get. And And you talked about COVID. We had 2 COVID flare-ups at the very beginning of this film. So I thought,
Oh no.
COVID's over. We don't have to go through this. But fortunately, since then, it's calmed down. And we've been able to get most of our shoots done, as scheduled.
Exactly. So, because I feel like it's impacted our lives, and I feel like it's just time for us to do what we want to do and not be hunkered down.
I agree. Yeah.
So, unless
and
you want to,
everybody else agrees, I think, because
Oh, yeah.
The 4-State Comic-Con was packed. The theater when we had our Brazen Impact premiere was packed. I went to the Heroes Con in Charlotte, and it was packed. People are out. They're tired of it. The baseball people are going to the baseball game. I mean, they're not sitting home anymore. They're going to the concert, and they're going to the art gallery, and they're doing. They figure they've already done all their vaccinations and all that. They're not sitting home anymore. I mean,
Yeah, I know. I'm getting ready to go to an event next week, and it's like a 4-day event, and there'll probably be more than like 300-400 people. So it's just like we're ready to go. We're ready to do our stuff. And for me, sometimes I'm like, I'm ready to do my stuff in case stuff closes down, so I can at least say I did something before it's all padlocked and I can't do it again.
Yeah. People just reach a point where they're tired of sitting at home, and they're going to go do whatever this thing they've been wanting to do, in some cases for 3 years.
Exactly. I try and tell people, like, if I did a photo album of 2020, this is me in a chair. This is all that happened.
Right.
Same for 2021. 22. This is everything I did before it came back.
Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, we were really lucky. We had the bulk of Brazen Impact done that we were able to finish up before the winter, and then of course it spiked in that winter, and then everything completely shut down. So then I had all that time to cut the movie because we had the footage. A lot of other filmmakers were a third to halfway through their film, and then had to sit by for another 1.5 2 years before they could pick up again. And then they had to get momentum back and get the look to match, and it's just a nightmare. We were very, very fortunate, and that's why we're able to move forward with this new movie, because we were able to get that other one shot before everything stopped. But yeah, I'm kind of like you. I want to get everything shot in October. We're done with shooting, so if in the winter they shut everything down again, I'm at home editing anyway, so it doesn't matter.
That happened to another filmmaker I know. He was starting a film in 2020, and then he shot a third away, and then COVID hit, and then he had to reshoot stuff, and now he's just releasing it come later this fall, finally. But it's taken him 3 or 4 years because of the pandemic. So.
Yeah, that's the story. And now another thing about shooting now is all these movies are out, are shooting this summer because everybody was on hold.
Oh yeah.
So everybody has a project ready to go, because if they didn't, some people came up with it during COVID, but a lot of people, these projects are 2-3 years old that they were ready to shoot in 2020, 2021, and so the actors in the region now have a lot of work because there's all these movies right at one time.
I know. Yeah.
They're not all spread out like they normally are, It's kind of made scheduling and resources tough, but fortunately we got our cast together and got that done. But yeah, it was a struggle because everybody had so much, and I was happy that the actors had all that work. But I just don't remember there that many projects at the same time.
Yeah, it's now like, I want you to do 5 films, and we need to get this done before winter. So
exactly. Everybody wants to do that. So
yes. Yeah. So I need you from March until September, and then you can go.
And then the time they want to be doing something, there ain't gonna be anything going on.
Exactly. But yeah, I think it's important to make sure that we take the most of the opportunity now, so then that way, if there's ever a backlash or a relapse of this happening, we were able to do things,
Yeah.
So, but no, I'm happy, and I'm glad for you. I'm happy that things are moving. I don't know why I was saying trucking along. It's not like you got the truck, but I like to make that association. But so what? what of your films mean the most to you?
Well, the first film I did was a black and white noir, and I really, at the time, I didn't know if I was going to be able to do. You just don't know when you first start.
Oh
You may
yeah,
only get. Yeah, I had done a short, but in terms of a feature, you may only get one feature. And I was like, if I'm only
right.
doing one, this is what I want to do. And then my second one was actually my first screenplay, and is really why I formed the company. Was I tried to sell that screenplay and couldn't sell it, so I decided that I would make the movie. And so
Oh, there
that
you
one
go.
was important for that reason, that was kind of the whole point of starting the company, was to make that film. So those two have a lot of special meaning for that purpose. But of the more recent ones, I think Brazen Impact was just crime. I just feel like, for me personally, I feel like I have so much room in crime, whereas in so many other formats, you're kind of like this. You can't really move this
Yeah,
way, or
you
oh wait, I
narrowed.
can't do that in this format, or I can't do. With crime, you could do anything. You can have a crazy character who's just as crazy as a horror
Oh
character.
yeah,
You could have a funny character that's just as funny as a comedy in the same movie. And you can't do that in horror. It's either a horror comedy, it's a straight horror, and if it's a comedy movie, it's like,
right.
well, what kind of comedy is it? Da da da.
Yes.
And you have to be funny or you have to be scary. And with
Yeah.
crime, you've got so much wiggle room. I feel, for me, that I really enjoyed having that freedom versus having to bend to a genre, even though I'm kind of choosing to do that. But it was so much freedom in doing crime, and
Definitely.
so I can't wait to get back to it. It's not going to be the next movie, but it probably will be soon after that.
Yeah, so you're liking more kind of the complexity of the characters of
Yes.
crime instead of kind of being pigeonholed into stereotypical, this is in horror, this is the bad guy, or this
Yeah.
person's corrupted, or this is the good guy.
Right.
It's just we need kind of different levels and more depth in within the character.
Yeah. Yeah. And not so much of the the virginal good character is the one is going to make it, and the obnoxious one that's always picking on everybody. They're
Yeah,
going to die.
yeah,
So in crime, maybe the one that's picking on everybody ends up being the only one left. I mean, sometimes that
yeah.
happens. So there's less givens, going into it. Anything can happen, and there's a lot of twists and turns in the story on purpose. And it literally opens and closes with a bang.
Yeah, there
Literally.
you go. Yeah. I can't begin to tell you, like, sometimes I'd be like, I don't like that guy, he's this, but then I'm like, you know what, it's kind of interesting that this person survived, instead of
Right.
I picked, the other four that died.
Yeah, I love it when that happens in a movie where I picked the wrong person to die. That means you fooled me, and I love to be fooled.
Oh
I'd
yeah.
much rather be fooled than predict the ending. So
Yeah,
that's always try to do that in the films.
exactly. I feel like sometimes some of them they're so predictable. Normally, like the Saw ones, I'm like, oh my goodness, this person's gonna go, this person, this person,
Right.
this person.
And it almost 5 minutes in. You can tell who's
Yeah,
going to make it, who isn't.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then my favorites, like, then especially when I know what's going to happen, they're like, okay, we're going to split up and go here. All right, that character's gone. That one, that one.
That's so true.
So, um, so do you think, like, as far as the future holds, that are we going to get more into like the CGI realm, and like more movies going to be CGI, or do you think we're still going to have a balance of like practical versus CGI?
Yeah, I think it's going to go more CGI. Unfortunately, I mean, we watched a movie the other night, Life Force from 1986, and that wasn't that long ago, really. But much less looking back to say the 50s or whatever, and the
Oh
Harryhausen
yeah,
stuff. But just the models and all that, to me, are just so much more believable than CGI. Now Star Wars is different. I mean, they
oh yes,
created it. They're believable. There's several. The Terminator, totally believable. Some of the sci-fi stuff, particularly the dark Orwellian kind of stuff, it works with that.
oh
But a lot
yeah,
of the action stuff, I like the real car chases and the real models blowing up and stuff like that versus the
yeah,
CGI. Just it looks kind of fake to me, and I'm not as huge a fan of it as everybody else is. But that's kind of where Hollywood's gone. I mean, it's like story is not as important as who's your lead actor and how much CGI action do you have in it. And we were joking before the interview started about how, you know, an actor's standing in a room by themselves talking to a pillow, basically, because the whole room's green
Oh
screen.
yeah.
You know, and that's how so many of these actors are doing in these you know, in these Marvel movies and these action movies. It's all green screen CGI stuff.
Definitely. Have some people watching right now. Thank you, Matt the Cat, for watching. I don't know what the Jocelyn. I don't know. He's watching, but they're just characters, so I'm not sure what you're saying, buddy. But thank you for watching. So, do you have like a favorite kind of actor producer yourself that you look up to?
Yeah, I'm probably my two favorites that are alive are Martin Scorsese and the Coen brothers.
Oh, there you go.
I'm a huge fan of The Big Lebowski. It's arguably if it's not my favorite movie, it's my second favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
But I love their other stuff too. I'm just picking that one. But I think Barton Fink is a brilliant film. All of their, you know, their darker crime things are all great. And then Martin Scorsese, like just everything he does. I mean, The Irishman was great. Casino was probably my favorite of his. I love the narration in that and how, you know, they're telling you their story of why they do what they do, and then they do it, you know, right there for you.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just, I just that kind of, you know, you feel like you're part of it, the action and all that, and the narration and the storytelling of Scorsese is just you know, yeah, those are my favorites.
Definitely. My favorite is I'm definitely you know, Steven Spielberg.
Oh, okay. Well, he's done
Definitely.
some great movies. Jaws is a great movie.
I love Jaws.
1941 is a good movie.
It is, and
A lot of people don't like that, but I was totally entertained by that movie. I love the cast, and and then the one he did that Kubrick wanted to do.
Oh yeah,
AI, right?
Yeah, artificial intelligence.
That was brilliant.
Yeah,
that was brilliant. That might have been his best. I mean, that was so good. But he's done so many good movies, and all the Schindler's List and all the dramas that he's done are all.
Oh yeah.
I don't like all of his movies. His more kiddie ones I don't care for, but
yeah,
when he's trying to be serious, he's formidable.
Oh yeah, Jurassic Park is the one that's near and dear to me.
I love anything with dinosaurs. You know, you got
definitely. Yeah.
Did you ever see The Last Dinosaur with Richard Boone? Came out in the late 70s.
No, I've heard of it. I've not watched it.
You have to, if you like dinosaur movies, you have to see it. It is, and Richard Boone is so funny in the movie. He's yelling at the dinosaur and everything. It's such a great movie.
Is it like on the level of like Land of the Lost?
It's better than that, but they use like Godzilla type type of monsters. Like one time the stone, they throw the stone and it bounces off the head. It's good fun. I'm telling you, you will be totally entertained. And it has a great soundtrack. The opening song is it sounds like a Nancy Sinatra with the horn and everything.
Oh, wow.
It's like a James Bond opening. It's just, and you can't. It's a very hard movie to find. I think they now have it out on YouTube, so I think you can finally see it. But I really had to hunt to find a copy of it, and it's a great movie.
Thank you, Matt the Cat. Matt the Cat enjoys 1941.
Oh, cool.
And he's also big on E.T., which is also a good film from Spielberg. So thanks for mentioning that, Matt the Cat. Yeah. He's one of our regulars.
Oh, cool. Well, that's great.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to say, promote on Dan-A-Plooza before we wrap it up?
We'll just go over everything again. We've got a screening in Ohio, Brazen Impact. It's August 14th, I believe, or 15th. It's a Saturday that weekend. We've got a screening on September 24th at Springfield, Virginia. There'll be more details on this if you come to the website, absurdproductionspictures.com. Look on the events or current events section. We also won an award for Brazen Impact, third place in the crime feature film category. And we've got a current film that we're working on, One of One, and we post pictures on that, weekly on our Facebook page.
Okay. So we will look forward to that, and we will share all of that. I'd like to thank my guest, Mark Byrne, for being on Dan-A-Plooza. I'd like to thank everybody watching. Thank you, Matt the Cat. And everyone have a good evening. Dan-A-Plooza will be back August 12th with 5 guests. and we'll have our 100th episode. So everyone, stay tuned, take care, and have a good night.